Hi, it's Mark from Top Local. We're here with Bernie Pawlik. Pawlik Automotive in Vancouver, 38 years servicing Vancouver cars and trucks and owners with all their automotive concerns, and 18-time winners of Best Auto Repair in Vancouver as voted by their customers. How you doing, Bernie?
Doing good.
So we're going to talk about a 2006 Mercedes-Benz C280 that had a pretty serious engine stalling problem. What was going on with this vehicle?
Yeah, the owner was driving the vehicle, and on a couple of occasions the engine stalled, and she'd have to restart the vehicle. Also, there's a warning light on the dash that came on a couple of times. ESP, which is the stability programming, anti-lock brakes, which affects the anti-lock brakes and that sort of thing. On the vehicle, and that warning light had come on and stayed on a few times when the vehicle was being driven.
So what did you find after you did some diagnosis?
Yeah, so the first step in diagnosing anything on a vehicle like this is to hook up a scan tool and just do a full vehicle scan. I mean, obviously there's a problem in two areas. By the way, the check engine light was also on. So we scanned it, and there was actually surprisingly not that many codes, but there was a trouble code stored in the engine control module, and there's a couple of codes in the ESP module. So basically for the codes in the engine, there was a crankshaft position sensor code. And then in the ESP module, the code basically said fault in engine. So what was happening is the engine fault issue was causing the ESP system to shut down.
Okay, how do those codes relate to each other?
Well, they basically relate to each other in that the way a lot of modern vehicles work is they'll shut off a certain system. Like if there's a problem in one module, it'll shut down the other system, because I guess the way it's determined or programmed is like, well, maybe the engine's not so reliable, so we don't want to use the stability programming until the engine's fixed. So I was thinking about another vehicle we see quite often on a Subaru. There's if the check engine light comes on, the cruise control module also warning light comes on as well, and it's really the engine just saying, hey, we're not going to put you into cruise control until the engine's fixed. So this is the same kind of thing. They're basically related code. So the good news for the client is really the problem is in only one area. It's in the engine. We need to fix the engine issue, and then that'll fix the stability control system and make that reliable too.
So what repairs were needed to get the vehicle reliable again?
Well, in this particular vehicle, there's a code for crankshaft position sensor, and that's a fairly common fault on a lot of Mercedes cars. It'll cause no start conditions. It'll cause the engines to stall. So we replaced the crankshaft sensor. But there was also another thing we needed to do at the same time. So I'll just get into a quick photo share. So here's a crankshaft position sensor. Basically bolts right into the back of the engine. It's a little tricky to get to, but bolts into the back, top driver side of the engine. And there's a big wheel. It basically just takes a signal off the flywheel. It can tell at the speed of the crankshaft. So this is basically a magnetic type of sensor. It picks up signals. So that's that piece. Now the other item that needs to be repaired is the electrical connector. Oh, here's my picture here. Seem to have lost my picture for some reason. So anyways, let's see if I can get it back. No, it's gone. Okay. I should be back though.
Yep.
Love the techie issues sometimes. Anyways, there's an electrical connector that has 3 pins that connects to the sensor, and it's held in place as basically a plastic lock tab. And when I went to put the tab back on, it just cracked and shattered. And this kind of thing happens from time to time. It's in a very hot environment, so the plastic gets brittle, and it didn't survive being put back on. So we had to replace the electrical connector and the wiring connections on the end. So a little bit of extra work, but of course you don't want to have that thing fall off, because the moment it does, or if it's a bad connection, the engine will stall. So that was the other thing that needed to be done. Sometimes that needs to be done, sometimes it doesn't. It just depends on the car.
And so after all the repairs, all the trouble codes were gone?
All the trouble codes were gone. Went for a couple of nice long road tests. The engine was fine. What I didn't mention is before I serviced the vehicle, I did take it for quite a lengthy drive, and I noticed a couple of times when the engine was running, it would just buck all of a sudden and kick, and never stalled on me. But that was, clearly like it should never do that. So these are smooth running engines. They never stall or do anything unless there's something wrong. So yeah, afterwards, great. No more warning lights, no ESP system, just ran as smooth as can be.
And how are C280s for reliability?
Yeah, generally they're pretty good cars. They're you know, they're nicely built. They're quite a reliable vehicle overall.
So there you go. If you're looking for service for your Mercedes-Benz in Vancouver, the guys to see are Pawlik Automotive. You can reach them at 604-327-7112 or check out their website, pawlikautomotive.com, or on YouTube, Pawlik Automotive Repair, hundreds of videos on there. Thanks, Bernie.
Thanks, Mark.